roster. But it hasn't really felt like that every single game. It does feel like we get a different version of this team every time we enter the Rift.
Yeah, it definitely does. And as you're saying, we definitely need to see some consistency coming into this match. And the thing I really want to keep my eye on, like I said, is that Twisted Fate. And something that's interesting to me is the fact that LGD are banning out Nidalee, because Rogue, both of these teams play Nidalee, but Rogue Warriors have a tendency to ban out Nidalee against, teams whose junglers really main that pick. And Peanut definitely is one of our best Nidalees in the league, so this actually goes back to that pre-interview where showing Peanut has massive respect for Haro.
I think that respect in the jungle is mutual as well. But the Graves is going to be left open as Volibear is banned away. Instead, we talked about Langx doing a lot of work up in the top lane with the Volibear pick, so taking that off of the board here. And I'm curious what LGD will prioritize here.
Yeah, like you said, the Graves is open, the Ashe is open, but neither of these teams care about Ashe as much as like a lot of our other teams. This is ZWuJi's most picked, but getting away from it in their last series at least. And again, LGD did first. Ooh, this was actually the one we missed. Syndra left open, and xiye definitely a big Syndra player. It is his most played this split, and great pickup for the side of LGD.
Yeah, xiye certainly can have a powerhouse performance on the Syndra when he gets his hands on it, gets through the draft, and it means he gets to lock it in. And now on the other side, ZWuJi, we saw a couple of clips of him during our A-roll here, and we saw him on things like the Xiye, but this Ashe has comfortably been one of his most played champions. He's on 7 Ashe games. The next pick, he's on 3. He's on 3 Lucian games, 3 Kai'Sa games, 3 Kalista games, 3 Ezreal games. So Ashe by far the #1.
And this was the expected first rotation once the Syndra got locked in. Getting that CC 80 carry, then getting a high damage jungle champion. Of course, Graves is also Haro's most played. Probably the best available jungle champion left open. I mean, a lot of, we have 2 cuts of junglers where some of them do just prefer the Graves over everything else. People like Haro, people like Wei, for example. And then you have other junglers like Karsa who go much heavier towards Trundle and Lee Sin.
Yeah, things that want to gank a lot. Again, we're seeing this priority on the Jhin up against Ashe. But again, Rogue Warriors can now start to draft around this Jhin if they want to and build a big old front line for him to have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, we could see them go towards something like an Ornn or a Wukong on their next pick and just deny this, but oh, well, there we go from LGD. This is the standard launching champion pick, like we said. It's his most played this split. It's a frontline champion. We know that LGD are not going to play her on top side, and LGD already setting up for having a lot of facets to their composition and just playing out through strong team fights.
So Wuming going to go with the Galio here. This will be a second Galio of the split. Bear in mind, Wuming has only played 4 games with the team this split. And 3 of those games were in the series that Rogue Warriors found themselves the first win. So unsurprising to see him the one starting on the roster here. But the Galio, going back to this team play that we know from Rogue Warriors, and with the Lee Sin banned away off the board, you can expect a second ban towards Peanut as well.
I expect LGD to ban Wukong here. It is Holder's most played this split. It definitely fits in their composition quite well. We'll give Kramer and xiye a very hard time to position in team fights. Also sets up some good follow-up from Wuming with the ultimate. And instead going to ban the Karma. So targeting some bans at Lei. And, Lei's had a long career, so definitely has played pretty much everything over the years, but has been much more of an engage-oriented player this split, even in spring, and I'd say it's something that fits his style a lot better. I actually think for Rogue Warriors, I'm surprised. I was going to say something like Wukong Leona would look great with their composition, would give Jhin a very hard time, would give you a very strong engage elements, very strong team fight. But banning out the Leona themselves.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, like, Lei, we think of the Thresh because he's played it 8 times, but outside of the Thresh, he has played 8 other champions. He has played 9 different individual picks so far this split, so the final ban going to be going up towards Holder in the top lane, getting rid of the Wukong.
And maybe they just go for Nautilus here. That's why they banned out the Leona themselves. Just going straight towards the Bard.
Yeah, Bard has won 1/3 of its games so far this split, apparently, with a 66% win rate. And now Mark can go for that Nautilus that you were talking about quite happily.
And so far, I'm definitely loving what LGD are putting together. And Rogue Warriors not going with that, like those tanks that we talked about earlier, and how we saw work out for WE in our last series up against the Jhin. Even good against the Syndra as well, because sure, Syndra scales fine, but it's still obviously much more of a burst-oriented champion. Right now, LGD have no DPS, so drafting things that can't get bursted down is what you would want.
And now it's just the jungle pick remaining for LGD. They have to decide what style they want to go for. Apparently it's Olaf. They want to be able to race Haro when it comes to farming.
And Rogue Warriors right now looks like they're going to go towards the Gnar. We haven't seen Holder pick this one up yet. I mean, realistically, I don't think there's anything that's too good of an option for their comp thus far, because I would have liked to see them just go for that straight 5v5 front-to-back style. They now have a side lane option in Holder, and it's a lot more about setting up Holder to jump on the back line with follow-up from Wuming.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they're going to pull this one off. I'm intrigued, though, and you know what? This is Holder's 11th unique champion that's split so far, so definitely showing a lot of different facets that he can bring to the table. Both of these drafts a little bit outside of the box, especially the Jhin coming out from Kramer, but also the Camille in the top lane from Holder.
I'd say like the Jhin obviously is outside of the box, but coming more in the meta. But at least stylistically, LGD's draft is very straightforward. It's very strong in team fights. It definitely spikes earlier on when we have things like Jhin and Syndra, so are going to be strong at that one item point. Even the Olaf, right? A lot more of an early game aggressive jungler, so we can expect to see Peanut making a lot of moves early on, to where when we look at Rogue Warriors with the Camille coming in, with them having the higher DPS AD carry, it is a lot more about the late game for Rogue Warriors. But that's not saying Rogue Warriors won't make moves in the early game, because one, it is Rogue Warriors, and two, they do still have aggressive playmaking tools with both the Ashe and the Bard.
I'm just excited that we get to see Ashe so commonly in the meta now. It's one of my favorite champions to watch, because it's one of those AD carries that has a bit of proactivity, and when you lock it in, you know the team is going to try and force plays, try and force the issue. And we get this Ashe-Bard combo as well, which is so good for long-range initiation and forcing the play. And Holder, one of those champions that can really follow up on that kind of engage.
Exactly, and I agree with you. I love having these proactive champions back in the meta, especially when we get to the, you know, the lull states that don't have like dragons or Rift Heralds up, or even a Baron. You just don't have a comp that can rush it. You now have an avenue to try to make plays through. But you know, going to both compositions, we've already set out that LGD are very clear-cut with team fights. For Rogue Warriors, it's going to be about creating picks, creating numbers advantage. You've already set up the long-range engage they have. Obviously, they have Galio, so he can always get to a fight first. And then you're going to have this constant pressure in the side lane once we hit, you know, that first item for Camille, where she can try and bully out Langx in the top lane. Yeah,
my big concern, though, on the side of Rogue Warriors is xiye got Syndra here. And we know that Galio, to some extent, neutralizes the lane against Syndra, but is very heavily Syndra favored. It's a really tough lane for Galio. The magic shield is going to block one Q for you, but then it's going to be on cooldown, and you're going to have a really hard time trying to get that farm.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see the mid-jungle 2v2, because both combinations are really strong when you have Graves Galio. I mean, someone gets taunted, Graves has a ton of burst. On the other side, Scout of the Week, and then the Olaf. For the side of Rogue Warriors, if they can get the taunt onto Syndra, I think it should be quite favored for them. They just, you know, burst her down immediately, to where obviously taunting the Graves, the Olaf isn't going to do all that much for you. So it definitely feels like it's going to come down to a bit of execution on who you hit the abilities on, and maybe slightly favoring the one who's counter ganking as well to get a better position off.
And we'll see if the junglers are going to focus on towards that mid lane as well, because Peanut, we know, is more than happy to throw ganks the way of xiye. But Peanut, I mean, he's one of the most versatile junglers we have in the entire league. Like, he is willing to play this gank-heavy style, but he's on Olaf right now. He can definitely just play, like, farms-heavy style. He can play for counter-jungling as well. Like, we have seen many styles out of Peanut, and, I mean, Lyric, what are you expecting to see from him here?
I definitely expect to see him, like, hover towards mid first at least. If the avenue for the gank is available, he'll go for it. If not, you have pressure in mid, so you can look for counter-jungling in the enemy bot side jungle. If not, the potential for a gank there is always there as well, because you have a Nautilus, so I think he's going to look to lanes first. If they can set it up, he'll go for it. If not, he has a pushing mid laner, so he'll probably look for the counter jungle you're talking about.
All right, see if he can find way into the jungle after going for those kind of ganks in the early game.
We do need to pay attention at level 6, though, because that is when it'll be risky, because even if he is pushing the mid lane right, you're against the Galio, so Galio will always be able to follow up. So this is really only talking about the pre-6 for the side of Peanut.
And I'm hoping we do get to see Wuming being proactive with that Galio ultimate when you've got Ashe Bard in the bottom lane alongside a Galio. I mean, it feels like we're almost guessing a WE game at that point. With the, I mean, they kind of championed this combination that we're seeing so regularly now. And we'll see if Rogue Warriors is going to be able to pull it off. One thing that I am expecting, though, is every single time we cast Rogue Warriors, we see chaos.
Yep.
It doesn't really seem to matter what composition they have. It doesn't seem to matter who's on what champion. They are going to find ways to get into LGD's face and force fights.
Yeah, they're definitely going to do that. And for Rogue Warriors side, so actually taking a step back, we set up LGD, play from mid jungle to bot. For Rogue Warriors, I kind of want to see the opposite. I want to see them use their tools in the bot lane to influence the mid lane matchup. We already talked about last series how you can have Ashe, you know, whether off a reset or even just off priority, walk towards the mid lane, threaten that Shen Coastal Arrow onto an immobile mid laner like a Syndra, but Bard does the same thing with Tempered Fate, so hit her with one of those abilities, Galio can now walk up and hit the taunt, Graves is all the damage in that combination, so for Rogue Warriors, it's about bringing the bot lane skills to the mid lane and finding that kill on the xiye.
So for LGD, we're going mid lane / jungle into bot, and for Rogue Warriors, we're going from bot into mid lane / jungle.
There we go.
Kind of opposite styles, but all focused around the bottom side of the map, which is what we talked about with Langx in the top lane already. He's always left on his own. He never gets the support of the jungler.
I think it was in their first series where they obviously brought him in after using Garvey, where they did gank top, and a lot of people in chat were like, hey, it's Xiao again. He's getting attention, he's getting ganks. I know Dagda was the one like, hey,
yeah.
LGD are pressuring top a little bit, it's really cool. And then after that series, we almost never saw any ganks top for Langx ever again. And he's back to being the weak side top laner, and you know, Langx was born in the weak side. He didn't see a gank until he was already a man, as you know the quote goes.
He's going to start wearing a face mask soon, which you know, they don't need to anymore. As you can see, they're in the arena once again. But I do just have a quick announcement here. Peanut apparently took approach velocity, which is not allowed on 10-13. I'm not entirely sure why. I think there's a bug with it or something.
Hysterics explained it on broadcast the other day. Let me see if I can remember. It's that when you kill when you proc it and kill someone, it'll stay up until that person revives.
Oh. I'm going to start running approach velocity in my solo queue games. Actually,
Shout out to
10-14
Hysterics, but yeah. Oh yeah, we are on 10.14.
So never mind. It's gone. The window's gone. You had 13 seconds there, boys and girls, and you missed it. But yeah, the ban pick is going to remain. It's going to be as it was, but they have to go through pick about once again and just reset everything.
But Kramer's laughing.
He's giggling.
That's a good time.
We all know what happens when Kramer laughs.
How we do. Look at Rogue Warriors, only straight faces, so...
That means we're going into game because we've got to zoom in on the logo, and that always means we're going into game. The pause is done with. Buckle yourselves in, everybody, because we're going for a journey. Rogue Warriors is always in the driving seat, and I'm happy to sit on the back of that bus.
Yeah, it's always a fun one, and I definitely want to see if we end up in a similar situation to Game 1 of Rogue Warriors versus DMO. But I'd say with these compositions, I don't expect so. I really like what LGD put together. I always love these sort of, you know, Ornn, Syndra in the mid lane, carry jungler, and pretty much any bot lane can do in that composition. But we have a lot of early game pressure. We have a very strong team fight. We have multiple ways we can play out this game. And especially in the LPL where we are so 5v5 front-to-back centric, this is, you know, your bread and butter composition.
So I want to ask you about this Jhin pick specifically, because we talked a bit about it in the first series, but what is it that has brought it into the meta? Not just specifically against Ashe, but like Ezreal was open here. Things like the Misfortune would have still been open as well. Xiye and Kai'Sa. Like, there are a lot of AD carries available, but Jhin has really started to find his way into somewhat priority.
So the thing... Ooh.
Now, we've got a full-on 2v2 here. I thought they were just going to be spatting a little bit. They will back away in the end, but Mark definitely not winning that trade.
The thing I like about the Jhin is we see when a lot of teams pick the Ezreal that aren't top esports is they just lose so heavily in lane up against whether it is the Ashe, the Kalista, something along those lines. So I like that, you know, Jhin kind of contests that lane priority, gives you early game skirmishing potential. And we've seen it used a lot as pretty much as a CC bot where you're used to set up your jungler mid laner where, especially in this meta where we have a lot of carry junglers as shown by this matchup, Graves versus Olaf, it feels like AD carry can take more of a backseat role to the jungler and the mid laner.
Bringing out these utility AD carries. So, follow-up question. Utility AD carries are the king. Nice little hook there from Mark in the follow-up route, but Kramer gets stunned by Lei, and that's going to mean ZWuJi's okay in this one in the end, but really, really nice 2v2.
And this is what you were talking about in the mid lane as well, where it's very easy for Syndra to bully out the Galio. already getting Wuming down to half HP.
Mark, oh my god. Mark is on fire right now. One more auto. The heal came through, though, from Lei.
Look
just
at his face, so cool, calm, and just collected. Just throwing out these hooks like it's easy.
Look, I was talking about his swagger on the stage. He's got swagger on the Rift as well, Lyric. He's looking fantastic. And Haro feeling confident, too, as he moves up towards his top lane. Langx knows what's going on, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get away from this one. Searing charge there. Flash still available, too. Stun goes through, but Bella's spread to block it. Langx is going to have to flash, but that's going to be followed. Haro gets the kill.
And, I mean, Langxing's used to this, right? Langxing played on RNG. He's used to just getting bullied out in the top side. Makes sense for Rogue Warriors, the fact that they can get some kills onto Holder, especially with the fact that Haro did just path up towards top side. But this sets up a potential dive in the bot lane. They have mid lane pressure as well.
My goodness, Mark has got the heat-seeking hooks on today. Lei and ZWuJi both incredibly low on HP. Exhaust and heal still available for them, and Haro, he's not done just yet. The slows are going to be there. Holder can get the stun on this one. This is going to be a second kill already onto Langx if they can get under the tower. One more auto, but Holder's gone too far. He's going to trade his own life now. The dive in the bottom lane as well. Mark is low, but he gets out with his life. xiye finishes that kill finally, as there's a knock-up from Wuming, and Peanut will be the answer. He goes down to Wuming. Mark actually is going to get flashed on. This will be a second kill on the Galio. Nice double there from Rogue Warriors.
And this was so all over the place from Rogue Warriors. Great job by Haro to, you know, punish Langx on the other side of the map, but at the same time, nice job by Rogue Warriors. Come out ahead on the bot side as well.
They come out ahead on the bottom side. It goes even on the top side. Rogue Warriors are winning the early game right now.
Yeah, and we can see how this goes. So Dive comes in, double TP as well. Lei with a massive cosmic binding. Wuming is here, does go in with the E, which Peanut and Mark now in a really bad position. Just Wuming with the confidence to flash over, knows that no way xiye can do anything about it. And Rogue Warriors winning out on both sides of the map.
Feels pretty great for Rogue Warriors to start this one off. And, you know, we talked about this being a matchup where you never really can count Rogue Warriors out of a series. Even if they're not the favorite, they're going to come in strong. And now with a 500 gold lead to start things off. That's before they're even hitting any spikes or anything.
I mean, you have a 2-0 Graves, you have a 2-0 Galio. We were talking about the mid-jungle 2v2 earlier on. And, I mean, I guess it's not about mid-jungle for LGD anymore. Now it's about Mark, who's hitting all of these hooks.
And he's looking for more right now. Again onto ZWuJi. The man cannot miss. ZWuJi does flash out and keeps himself safe with a little cup of cocoa. But again, Mark is just on form today.
And we're 5 minutes in. We've had 6 kills in this game, and we've even had more skirmishes and ganks than that. So already an action-packed game.
And this is why I love casting Rogue Warriors. We say it every time.
God.
Another great binding from Lei.
Our supports are so on point this game.
This was the matchup we needed to highlight. Forget the junglers. This is all about Lei and Mark right now.
Yeah, and even top side. Actually, no, nothing top side.
Well, there's 2 champions and a whole bunch of minions. So there is something top
There's
side.
items. There's a cull.
That's not that exciting, not gonna lie.
I'm doing my best.
That's like the least excited item you could. There were long swords you could have pointed at there.
That's true. There's biscuits.
Total biscuit of rejuvenation.
Yes, there are.
I think they changed the name actually.
I'm not sure.
I don't
know
think
what the
it's
names of
rejuvenation anymore. But I can't remember. And to be quite honest, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter even a little bit. But we did see Lei go into the enemy jungle, get some deep vision down, going to spot out Peanut on his path, but of course Peanut now going towards his top side. They should know this from, you know, the buff timers coming up.
Yep, I knew it.
That's good, Munchables. Glad that you who can see the mini-map know this.
It's good to know, isn't it? In the meantime, xiye moves in, and as you rightly say, the buff's coming back up, so Syndra will be able to grab the blue here.
So with this play mid, Wuming is level 6, having Haro push out, they are threatening a dive onto bot lane.
And we've seen that Lei is doing a great job with these cosmic bindings already.
Straight to Dragon. So nice play by them, which, I mean, obviously it's not much of a starting to dive onto bot lane when both your jungle and mid are showing mid and then pathing bot side, so obviously the enemy bot lane knows, but it made Kramer and Mark back off from turret and then just easily allowed ZWuJi and Lei to push out the wave, and you know, you have 4 men able to posture around the Drake.
Yeah, really good stuff from Rogue Warriors, and let's bear in mind that we quite often set this team up as a team that somewhat brainlessly fights, it has to be said. So it's good to see that they are making plays that aren't just about fighting. They're also finding themselves advantages through these dragons. And granted, the lead that they found in the game was just through fighting. But Peanut now gets to move down here and grab himself a Scuttle Crab. The Herald coming up, though, in just under a second here. And I'm curious if Rogue Warriors are going to try and force the issue up there.
I am as well, because right now LGD are the ones who have topside pressure, which, you know, makes sense. Launching has a bunch of AoE abilities where it can clear the wave. We see xiye obviously dominating in the mid lane, so you'd expect that LGD should be the ones who go and pick up the Herald.
Yeah, he can just move straight up there. Already has the blue buff, and Wuming has to head back to base right now. Doesn't have the TP available, despite the unsealed spellbook. And it means that now Peanut has free entry on towards the Herald. Holder is over the wall, so he gets a ward over, and it's been spotted. Rogue Warriors know this is happening, and you can see Lei moving up on your mini-map as well, so maybe some level of contest can come through.
Yeah, and interesting to note is that Lei is 6 to where ZWuJi is 5, and it's vice versa for the side of LGD's spot lane, so Lei can try to buy time with Tempered Fate, but doesn't look like Rogue Warriors are going to go for anything.
Peanut able to grab that one. Stun comes out, nice route to follow as well onto Wuming, but Lei gets a little cup of cocoa onto him. And you know, everyone knows about the healing properties of cocoa. It's not necessarily physical healing, but it's emotional healing. That's what it offers. Especially with the marshmallow.
That's pretty deep, actually. That's actually very true.
Yeah. Look, all I'm saying is the skin department of Riot clearly know their stuff. I'm sure that they had a very deep thought about this, and it wasn't just cute. Right?
I can't. You've already hit some like pretty real past memories, Munchables. So, you know,
Lyric's having a moment here.
But hey, you know what else is a moment is Peanut with the Rift Herald and heading towards spot side.
Langx has flash, but he doesn't get to use it because he's caught in the Hextech ultimatum here.
Oh.
Gets a knock up onto Haro, and actually doesn't even need to use the flash. He's fine. Gets out. Scot-free.
Yeah, nothing happens, and we actually see now that in response, LGD are heading straight towards mid, probably to drop that Rift Herald, but still, Haro and Holder gonna get some plate gold in the top lane.
So once again, another great proactive play coming out from Rogue Warriors. This is why we love talking about them. This is why I love casting them, because they're never going to just sit still. They are always going to keep making things happen, and even if it's not just brute forcing a play, they find themselves a tower plate there. The question really, though, is where is Peanut headed right now? Because he's got that Rift Herald, and he has the option to funnel a bunch of gold into whichever carry he fancies. Bear in mind, xiye has had pure push priority in this mid lane for a long old while. Yeah,
and I still expect it to be mid, but with the way that LGD's run, it wouldn't be too surprising if they just do it to like put it onto Kramer.
Yeah, no, they're going mid. Oh, that minion survived. That is heartbreaking for Mark, because the hook was on target again, but the Q missed the missed the minion, so it didn't clear.
We do not make excuses for a man who's had 100% hit rate up to this point. He made a mistake, Munchables.
God damn it, Mark, it's not good enough. 98% is just not going to cut it here in the LPL, I'm afraid, Mark. You're fired.
I'm just surprised. The fact
Killua, you're back on the roster.
You know, maybe it is a good thing that you don't have control over these teams, as we talked about earlier. But I'm surprised that we haven't seen Rogue Warriors look to use these Tempered Fates or Enchanted Crystal Arrows aggressively like we talked about. I'd love to see them set up a play onto xiye, but I guess, to be fair, the past 2 minutes has just been LGD having Mark hover around mid and look for these plays onto Wuming. Look at Wuming summoners right now. Extremely aggressive.
Yeah, he wants to fight right now, and that's because Drake is up in 40 seconds, and it's an Ocean Drake as well, so both teams would love to grab this one for themselves. So we've probably got a skirmish on the horizon here, Lyric. And Holder is getting absolutely destroyed in the top lane by this wall.
Yeah.
Is that meant to happen?
I mean, early on, this isn't really a lane that Camille wins too heavily. You are just... I wouldn't put it in either's favor. You're pretty much just trading hit for hit. We see they're both about, 60% HP, same mana. Realistically, if Holder all-ins Langx right now, Langx won't die. And of course, Langx really doesn't have the ability to kill Camille as an Ornn.
Unless he goes too far, because he already did get a kill. But that was because Holder ran underneath the tower, so... And
as we can see, though, we said earlier, Langx has a very easy time pushing the wave. He's 2 AoE abilities, so very easy for him to clear as compared to Holder, so... just kind of rotating and hovering for the other side of the map?
Well, I feel like I've lied to the audience here, Lyric, because I told everyone we're going to have a fight for the dragon, but it doesn't happen in the end. We just see LGD grab that one because they do have the push in the mid lane. They've got the push in the bottom lane as well. The power of the Bard pick coming through. Once again, nice little ult there from Lay just to deny any tower plays coming down here. And 1 or 2 more autos will finish the job, but with a minion wave in, at least xiye can grab 1 turret play for himself.
Yeah, and really interesting that we've actually seen LGD play with their jungle support through mid lane rather than vice versa like we talked about. So Rogue Warriors potentially would have like ways to answer with, you know, Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto the Jhin with Lay there as well, but instead just constantly left answering the plays that LGD is making.
And, you know, we were talking about that Camille matchup in the top lane a moment ago there. With Ninja Tabby finished and a Sunfire Cape, there ain't any kill pressure coming out from Holder anytime soon, because Langx getting real tanky, and until something like a Triforce comes through, realistically, there's... I mean, Camille is pretty item dependent anyway.
Exactly. I mean, that's why we even said in draft, right? We're not really going to see too much like heavy trading in Holder's favor until we do get that Triforce.
When we do see the trades coming through, it's all about the grasp procs. It's all about trying to get the grasp stacked up for later on in the game. So there's a little bit of extra innate tankiness there, but it kind of goes both ways. They've both got grasp, so it'll be relatively even in the trades. 800 gold there on the plates from LGD. And LGD have found themselves a bit of a gold lead here, which is, you know, somewhat down to these plates, but it's also down to CS leads across the board.
Yeah, and still their comp is very favored in front of the Dragon and the Rift Herald, so with the next Rift Herald coming up soon, you would favor LGD to be the ones to get that one once again, and maybe Rogue Warriors looking to just get bot lane turret in response. They don't need to fight. They do scale quite well. But at the same time, it's Rogue Warriors, but I don't want to say that because, you know, we've said that all game long, and...
Yeah. We got it for the first, like, 2 minutes of the game. And then it very quickly fizzled out, didn't it? Because all 6 of these kills came in the first 5 minutes. And ever since, it's been pretty chill. These teams are quite happy just trading minion waves, which is a bit of an issue for Rogue Warriors because they aren't winning in the minion wave trade game right now. They're falling behind in gold, and it all comes down to Kramer and xiye building these CS leads.
Huh. Also, LGD are the ones to completely give up Herald when their composition's definitely stronger right now. We have Syndra on the Luden's Echo, Jhin on the Storm Razor as well. ZWuJi hasn't even finished his play to the Ruin King yet.
Well, in the meantime, in the bottom side of the map, Kramer is going to get first turret of the game by himself, and everyone else is in the mid lane. So, you know what? If you're going to get a Rift Herald, you've got to get some towers off the back of it, and LGD are like, we can just get them without.
Yeah, so great job from LGD. And now that they pushed out mid, they actually have the pressure to roam over to the top side and threaten a fight.
Oh, God. We're asking for here. Mark is going to be caught up. A nice little flash keeps him safe over the wall here. But xiye, he's found an AD carry, and he's outskilled him with the R button.
Yep, and this is why we see Syndra so often, as all of you know. You just press R and someone is always dead. Langx does have flash. He's still extremely tanky.
Yeah, that Hextech ultimatum, though, with Haro there as well. I don't think he can get out of this one. 1 or 2 more autos, and that's a kill going the way of Holder.
But Kramer got another turret on the bottom. No one's answered him, right? They were all topside. We saw LGD go up towards, and Rogue Warriors look for a pick, so Kramer's been left all by himself this whole time.
And he's got Storm Razor as well, so he's hitting pretty hard already.
I mean, and right, you already pointed out, everyone already knows. They traded 3 turrets for a Rift Herald, which is equal to 1 turret, so overall great trade by LGD, realizing, hey, you know, for them to get Rift Herald, they need to commit 5 men. So we're just going to, you know, go through bot, transfer all this pressure towards mid, take that mid lane turret. And, I mean, then it was kind of a Rogue Warriors misstep for allow Jhin to take 2 turrets for free, but...
Yeah. I mean, it was already a bad trade when we saw Kramer get 1 turret and the rest of LGD get the mid turret. And then the trade kind of got compounded on when they committed to the top side to try and finish Langx. I don't think they were expecting Kramer to just keep pushing, but...
I do want to say it was kind of like a lose-lose. There probably was a way they could have played that better to not end up losing mid-turret, but had they not committed to Herald, right, then you're not getting anything anywhere else. Maybe you get 1 turret bot, but realistically, I think LGD should still be able to get 2 turrets with mid and top. And, you know, if you contest for Herald, well, we saw what happened.
So what you're saying is the play was already done. They'd already lost the 3 towers. It was just deciding which 3 towers to lose.
I don't feel like they should have lost 3. I feel like they would have lost 2. But, yeah. The one to Jhin, the last one, the inner turret.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about, yeah.
that's the...
Because they could have just held the Herald and gone to a different tower in a moment's time. Like, there was no rush. They didn't have to immediately go up top lane and force onto Langx.
And now we do have the Triforce out for holders, so this is where we want to see how they can like bully out this matchup. But at the same time, to me, it will be LGD who consistently have pressure in the mid lane. So Holder will always be under threat of pushing out this side lane too far. So I don't feel like this long lane really enables him the way it typically would.
Oh. Haro not feeling good on that one. He's going to be pulled in by Mark, and there's a bit of a commitment to the play, but Peanut not going to follow up.
I want to highlight the fact that Kramer has 2 items to ZWuJi's 1. So LGD will always have mid lane prio, which means Holder will never be able to push out the lane, and you're really going to have to rely on LGD making mistakes for late to find a Tempered Fate and that lead into a pick.
Yeah, and I just want to also point out that the items Kramer has gone for, earlier on today we saw a Jhin with Essence Reaver and Infinity Edge. This is a very different build. What this build does with a Storm Razor and a Rapid Fire Cannon, especially if you've got 4th Auto Attack Prime, that is a long-range, massive crit that's going to basically one-shot.
Yep, it is. This is the nuke build for Jhin. You just one-shot someone there, just gone. So, and once again, we see Rogue Warriors giving up an inner turret with LGD pushing topside.
Yeah, this is not a good trade, Rogue Warriors. Go back to just fighting. I don't like the macro Rogue Warriors style anymore. I was excited for a second. I've had enough of it. Go back to fighting, please. This is not your style. It's not working.
Munchables, we are not getting off the Rogue Warriors wild ride.
It's not that wild.
I mean, the decision making is pretty wild.
I've taken my seatbelt off at this point because this is just a nice little bobble down a country road. Bobble? Is that really the right word? I don't think so. Holder gets his hook shot out, so he will survive for now at least, but the curtain call comes through, and they're trying to stop the escape. One more slow, and the crit goes wide in the end. So, Rogue Warriors do get away. At least they got the second tower as well. So, actually, Rogue Warriors win the trade.
I think if Kramer would have just opened his ultimate right away and started hitting those slows onto Camille, who's going to guaranteed hit that turret, probably could have equaled out to a kill onto Holder, at least forcing out his TP or something like that to get away.
Yeah.
Because you let Langx get in range, you know, hit the E, hit Q's autos, whatever. Then you open up the Call of the Forge God. You're buying time for Peanut to wrap around like he was.
And let's remember as well that that's why you're picking this Jhin, right? For
yep.
the utility AD carry. You are the engage tool for your team, so would have been nice to see, but we're going to see poor old Langx is not having a fun game. He's 1-3 already, and there has just been so much focus onto him. Did flash to try and get himself out here, but the rest of the squad is going to be committed here. Langx does finally fall, but now Holder, not even the ult can save him. That's a lot of damage out of xiye, and Mark flashing forward to try and get the root, waiting for the hook to come back off cooldown. Haro is going to hit onto xiye here, and there's a taunt to follow up. Tempered Fate there as well. And Rogue Warriors have got the answer. We said we wanted them to fight, and fight they will. 2 for 1 now in favor of Rogue Warriors.
And let's remember, this was Langx just overextending, getting caught out, and LGD using everything to try to save him, which ended up in losing a 2 for 1 trade.
Really nicely done here from Rogue Warriors, but the question, as always, remains to be, what can they do off the back of this headband?
And we see here, look where Olaf and Syndra are. They're on the opposite side of the map, so it feels like when Rogue Warriors have hard committed to bot side already, it's pretty pointless to try to get a numbers advantage in time. They do get here at first, they end up trading a 1 for 1, and sure, Jhin is on his way, but we look at where Rogue Warriors' bot lane is, they're much closer. They also have those long-range engage tools that we talked about. They lock down xiye, which leads to a great Tempered Fate, which now all of you can just walk right on top of xiye. He's definitely going to go down at this point. And 2 for 1 trade for Rogue Warriors.
Yeah, beautifully done. Great play from Wuming as well to follow up on the CC chain there. And now we're in a weird situation where we've got a Galio with 3 kills up against a Syndra with 3 kills. You don't usually see both sides of this mid lane getting fed. Usually it's one way or the other. But Wuming has finished their Zhonya's now, so this Galio is getting real big.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, It's kind of disappointing because Galio isn't the member you'd want to be real big, but still is going to deal a lot more damage to space in the game than he rather would. And even Graves,
it's a surprising amount of damage as well.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's the key thing. Like, if he gets onto Kramer, for example, he can get 100 to 0 damage.
And the thing is, full combo for sure on Kramer, right, is going to do like 70% of his HP at least. So it's like, I think is what you're pointing out. Maybe not 100 to 0, but you do that combo with Graves' ultimate where you don't even need to be right next to him, he's dead. He's gone for sure.
Honestly, with the Proto Belt, I think maybe he can 100 to 0.
You're right. It'll be close. But point is, he's going to deal a lot more damage at this point in the game than he should have otherwise.
And now let's talk about the Drake that's happening right before our eyes here. Ult just going to get a knock-up onto Haro, but the Drake resets, so now they're going on to the rest of the team. Lane knocked up here. Mark just trying to tank for everyone. In comes the ultimate across the team, and that's a 4th kill onto this Galio. Lunching falls as well. Make it a 5th, why not? Just set up Wuming to carry on the wings of liberty here. There's a taunt on top of everything else for the triple kill. I'm in love with Wuming all of a sudden. This Galio is beautiful. Now Haro comes in. They're looking for an ace. Rogue Warriors are doing it, Lyric, as Peanut is chased out of his off the map.
This was a team that just kept giving away turrets for free, Munchables. This is a team that theoretically doesn't really have a great front line compared to LGD, who have 2 tanks in the front line, and they just won out on the team fight.
And they're running straight towards Baron right here. They've got themselves an Ashe with a Blade of the Rune kick. Okay.
Okay, they realized, yeah. They were like, hey, let's do it. They're like, look at our health bars. Look at the death timers, which are like 5 seconds right now for xiye. Longxing already up. Peanut and Mark full HP, so ultimately good call. But like you said, that fight really coming off the back of Wuming's performance.
And LGD were very scared of this potential attempt. Lungxing actually just teleported to the mid lane to make sure he was there if the Baron had kicked off. Obviously it didn't, so it does mean that that's going to be on cooldown now. Holder has TP advantage.
And yeah, we're going to watch Wuming's performance right now. They are off to the side up against LGD, and LGD kind of looking for the engage. Peanut gets stunned down. We see Kramer on the back not dealing any DPS. Double knock-up, and yeah, just the rest of LGD too afraid to walk forward. Peanut wasn't in that fight at all, actually, but great ult from Wuming. Great job to follow this one up as well. Hits the taunt here and equals out to another kill.
And that little combo feels so damn good when you get the taunt, the Q and passive. Feels amazing. He's just picked up a 3rd item. That triple kill got him so much gold. He's now got a Banshees. And so if he wasn't invincible before, there's no way xiye can just solo kill him anymore.
This also goes back to Spring, where a lot of W East comps, I'd be like, okay, well, Scala in the mid lane, it's not really that much damage. But W would always be so far ahead. Teacher would always be an item up. That's where we would start to see these massive damage team fights from Galios. And that's where Wuming is at this point.
Wuming is feeling fantastic. And xiye has gone for a very expensive build with that Death Cap 2nd as well. But he is going to be able to just pop ZWuJi if he can get into the right position. But that's easier said than done. And when we were talking about Kramer's build before, the fact that he had those 2 items, he no longer has that advantage for himself.
Nope, and even ZWuJi sitting on a null magic mantle to at least deal with xiye's ult a little bit better. And even, the shield coming out from Wuming's ult if he does elect to use it on ZWuJi. We already see the Edge of Night for Haro.
One thing that is worth mentioning as well, though, is that the 3 items on ZWuJi is nowhere close to as strong as 3 items on Kramer. When Kramer finishes that Infinity Edge, the 4th shot is going to be absolutely insane.
Yep, and his 3 item spike is also much more expensive than ZWuJi, so even the fact that he's almost there as comparatively to ZWuJi just on 2 is pretty impressive.
Holder, I don't know if he's going to be able to get away with this one. Another TP committed here from LGD. xiye does some serious damage. That Death Cap paying off.
Yeah, and Rogue Warriors, okay, so they pinged it out, but they're not going to commit to it. I think that's a good call. If LGD wanted to, they really could get there, in no time at all, just running across the map. I don't think Rogue Warriors have the damage to burn down a Baron at this point.
And I feel like a lot of the damage they would need to get through the Baron comes actually from Hulk. He's one of the high DPS members of this team. Granted, they do have 2 AD carries and the Graves and the Ashe, but still, it would have been a tall ask for them. And ultimately, not that much actually happens off the back of this.
We do have the IE coming out for Kramer now, though. So now, like Munchables was saying, this is where Kramer's really going to hit like a truck with that 4th shot. I mean, just in general, but especially with that 4th shot. Here we're going to see how they go for this onto the bot side. We see Holder here. Peanut just coming out of Fog of War. Oh, he's actually really patient. Gives enough time for the other members to follow through. Call of the Forge got hit, and I mean, come on, there's 4 people here, so
Yeah.
goes down in the end.
xiye even committed his ult at the end there, which I think was a little unnecessary, but you know what? It's back off of cooldown. The teleport, like, was it all needed? Who knows? Does it matter? Not really, not unless xiye is looking to side lane, and as Syndra that has almost all of the gold in the team, you're not going to want to be separate from the squad.
I really like what Rogue Warriors are doing right now, where they have Holder putting up pressure in the side lane, because look at LGD, Langx and xiye both do not have TP, and Dragon is about to come up. So if xiye comes and answers this is a free Dragon for Rogue Warriors, and that's what it looks like. It looks like Rogue Warriors are going to get this Dragon for free.
xiye did not show on the minion wave just yet, but I think that Rogue Warriors can still just start this one off anyway, and this would be them grabbing themselves soul point
Look
here.
at LGD, though.
Not again, Holder. Be careful, my friend. He's going to get over the wall.
Had Mark started walking around that... Ooh. Okay,
Oh.
so still forced to blow the TP.
Oh my goodness, how did he get away with that? Scatter, we barely missed.
I would have loved to see LGD force some kind of crazy Baron play right here. I guess I don't know where he TP'd
I
necessarily.
would have loved
but-
to see Holder teleport to the bottom lane right there.
Ooh,
He knows
but-
everyone's up on the top side.
But Rogue Warriors just aggressively pushing down mid, and now they have 2 mountains, so... Again, we do have resistances coming out from both Wuming and even Holder at this point with the Death Stance on the way.
Wuming just got wrecked by that magical journey. He was like mid-E when he tried to click it or something, and it made the noise.
We also see that Kramer's IE has gotten upgraded. We can expect Rabadons to be getting upgraded for xiye any time now, so... Like, theoretically, this is where LGD's comp is at its strongest point. This is when you want to fight.
And Rogue Warriors agree with you as they start to launching, but he backs away. And I'm a little bit curious now, because when it comes to the gold, yes, Rogue Warriors have a small lead for themselves, but at 30 minutes, 2,000 gold is not something to write home about. And none of that gold is on ZWuJi. As you rightly said before, 3 items have been finished by Kramer, 1 of them upgraded by Ornn. ZWuJi's still miles away. He's not even started his 3rd item yet, unless he really commits to the QSS becoming a Mercurial Scimitar. But you'd expect the Death Stance to be the next item.
Yeah, and...
Or IE.
That's why I really want to see LGD find a fight sometime soon. They have the massive front line, they have the burst coming out from the Syndra, the Olaf, and the Jhin. The annoying thing is they don't have a way to, like, flank and just, ooh.
Hang on, it's Rogue Warriors starting things off here. Taunt onto 2, and Mark is real squishy, but they're just going to focus on Xing. I'm not sure that's the greatest target, but Holder goes in with a Hextech Ultimatum. The follow-up is there from Wuming as he continues this fight onto the rest of the team. Down they fall. Peanut is next as Haro gets onto the back line here, on towards Mark, and Kramer forced away as well. xiye can't do anything while he's exhausted, and Kramer, you're on the wrong side of this play. Holder can jump over the wall to finish this one off if he wants to, but he's not going to overcommit for this one.
And I just don't understand what LG, like, do LGD think they're going to get stronger in this game? Do they think they're going to magically find a way to be able to engage on Rogue Warriors if they can't right now? Like, Rogue Warriors are only going to get stronger. ZWuJi's going to deal more DPS than Kramer. Holder is going to become a big monster in the side lane. So I don't know why LGD are so afraid of looking for a fight.
LGD not feeling decisive, which of any team with Peanut on the roster is not a usual trait here.
Like, this is not a team fight. Langx goes down before anyone else can even answer on the side of LGD. We see LGD are running away. See, Langx's already half HP. No damage has been put down by the side of LGD. So at this point, we now have a 5v4 coming in from Rogue Warriors. Peanut already locked down. Ragnarok already had been used, and this is just easy cleanup for the side of Rogue Warriors. So if you don't win a team fight here, where your Jhin is so far ahead on items, where you have the big front line, when do you win?
I think the answer is that you don't, Mr. Lyric.
Yes, I
Rogue
think so.
Warriors starting this one off the way they mean to go on. And you know what we saw in the interview right at the start? Haro was saying, look, ever since we got that win, the mood in the team has increased incredibly. They're feeling good. They're feeling great coming into the game. And they're looking great on the Rift as well.
I can speak from experience. When you are riding the high of that win, like, it bandages so many problems that your team could potentially have. And when you're on a losing streak, that is when all the small things that don't even matter get fought over. So the atmosphere in the team, you know, has a massive implication on a team's performance. I really think that cannot be overstated.
And I mean, it's why so many of the top teams in the world are, generally speaking, very happy, very quirky teams that all get on as friends in the roster. It's not just teams, it's friends.
It's also why win streaks can really snowball out of control, as you see with TES or Cloud9 or teams of that nature, because you can ride that momentum for so long.
Warriors going to be looking to do exactly that, especially if they want to make it to playoffs, because they already have 8 losses on the books. So it's a tall order.
I love that Haro could just split push for free as a Graves, and LGD have nothing on the map they can answer with.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the Baron, so Rogue Warriors, they're going to be able to finish off with the tier 2s here. I don't think there's really any way for them to crack the base, though.
Holder, though, just got TP back up. So Holder can even go back to just playing a side lane role and putting pressure on LGD to do something.
LGD do have both of their teleports available as well, but I don't think we're going to see any side lane play just yet, because Dragon's coming up in 5 seconds here, Lyric, and this is an important one for LGD to fight over, because it'd be Soul, and this is not the moment to get caught out, Lay. That is a blunder and a half from Rogue Warriors.
I want to see what... Like, are Rogue Warriors really going to opt for this instead of just giving it up and playing with their Baron buff?
They're going to opt for this one. They're going to try and contest here. Haro's over the wall. He's happy to jump over to try and go for the steal. This will be Soul if they can get it.
Looks like Haro's just going to go for the steal while the other members push mid.
No, everyone's going to go mid. They just waited a long old while before committing.
Well, so they waited for a wave, so I think that's actually fine. And this is the play to make. The fact that Lay made a mistake, you know, it can't be helped in hindsight for the rest of Rogue Warriors. So move mid, try to put some pressure down. Sadly, their Baron timed out, so they're not going to be able to look for some kind of extended push, but still taking some jungle camps away from Peanut to be able to farm. You know, you got what you could with Lay making the mistake.
Yeah, but that is going to be really rough now.
That could have been Soul.
That could have been Soul, and more importantly as well, now, next time that Drake comes up in 4.5 minutes, LGD have the potential to get the Soul.
Yep,
and suddenly, the damage difference really doesn't matter so much with a Mountain Soul in the play.
Exactly. 3 Drakes for both sides, Munchable. We are on Soul points for both teams. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It is a fact.
You're pretty good at counting, actually.
You can't, yes. 3 + 3 is 6.
Whoa. That was impressive. That was good. I like that. I wish they taught us that in schools in the UK.
You know, ever since we did break away from the crown, I do feel like we've progressed quite a bit. Actually, that's so hilarious. I was going to say, in light of the world circumstances, that's actually pretty ironic for me to say. But
this is a bigger conversation for the LPL broadcast. But I don't know if American education is really the hill you want to die on here.
It's not. It's not at all. So, you know, ZWuJi getting a red buff, and we see them posturing for this play on top side. It looks like they were hoping for someone from LGD to push up and them to be able to potentially find a pick, but, you know, LGD not going to make that mistake. And now there's nothing on the map for either team to fight for. The only thing we could possibly have is see Holder aggressively wanting to push up, but that would also call for the 4-man squad of Rogue Warriors to be like holding a pretty strong line in mid lane so that LGD can't just go punish Holder in a side lane.
Yeah, the big question is Holder actually going to commit to side lane play? Because generally speaking, this game, aside from a couple of examples, he has been hovering around the team, and he has realistically been the primary form of engage that Wuming could follow into these fights. He's been ulting straight into... I mean, we saw it in the mid lane fight where Langx was caught out. It was all about Holder managing to get in there for the follow-up to come through.
It is the good thing about Camille is that you aren't something like a Fiora or like a Jax, to where you do have the Hextech ultimatum, which obviously can be utilized in a team fight, especially when you have a Galio right alongside with you. But so this is where his team is juggling pressure on both sides of the map. They see LGD, they have their 4-man core mid, and this does allow Holder to go pressure the turret, but Peanut is waiting in the wings.
It is important to mention as well that we are well beyond the part where Ornn can fight back in this one.
Yes.
Camille now annihilates Ornn. There's true damage off the Q, not to mention just Ornn doesn't do any damage.
Exactly. That's the key thing, because you know, if it was like a bruiser versus bruiser matchup, Camille could go for the dive. But in this one, you just ignore the Ornn. You just hit the turret and, okay, sure, Ornn gets a full combo off to you. That does like 30% of your HP. Worst case scenario, you heal up on the next minion wave. It's not a big deal.
Death Dance is already there. Not to mention, you got Tactical Sweep for an extra little bit of healing there as well.
You also have the Ravenous Hydra, which obviously does have both life steal and health regen in it.
Langx moving over, but Holden knows that Peanut could be around.
xiye is coming, though. And xiye has TP, so they can go for this pick.
But they don't know he's there.
He might be able to kill
Oh
xiye.
my goodness, no way. This would be a bold play from Holder if he went for it, because xiye can definitely one-shot him. He's not going to commit. He's going to just recall here. Obviously, teleport available, so if they want to fight for this Baron, he needs to be there.
It's quite surprising this wasn't a time where LGD's 4-man would engage on the 3-man of LGD to force out that double TP, because they knew they were both bot side, right? They know they have the numbers advantage. They don't need to commit to a kill, just commit to forcing out those TPs.
ZWuJi going to come mid just to clear this wave out so that they can fight priority here. Tempered Fate onto 2 players. That's Kramer included right there. Flashes to the back of the play, and in comes the Galio ult onto everyone as well. But Kramer still surviving. Keep your eyes on the AD carry in the back line. Using the cleanse, but he goes down. Both AD carries fall now, and Langx finds himself in the fight without a team. Flash forward from Wuming is answered by xiye, but he's getting chased on down by the Galio. Who says Galio don't do damage? And Holder finishes it off.
And this goes back to what you said, where it's all about Holder coming in for these flanks, locking someone down with the Hextech ultimatum, giving Wuming a good ult target, and neither AD carry mattered in that situation, because guess what? ZWuJi doesn't have the gold. It's all about the top half of the map.
And now straight down into this mid lane. The TP on the minion wave as well. Lei happy to tank the tower for now. This is going to be game 1. Going the way of Rogue Warriors in an upset win, and a great way to start the series for our underdogs.
Yeah, just looking great and not what we expected, but Rogue Warrior showing they can always fight back.
And a lack of decisiveness from LGD here in game number 1. Not able to make the plays happen, not able to use the advantages they found